Thing to cover will be Greg Locke, because apparently, well, thank you very much, Mandalore the Inebriated, for the resubscription at the most inopportune time possible. Jesus Christ. Anyway, we're going to be covering Greg Locke because apparently he's got some real weird conspiracy theories going up now. Some, like, massive conspiracy theories, actually. But before that, we need to go ahead and get into the fan art section as usual. So we have apparently a himbo Suris done by Obsidian, or Obscure Obsidian. Sorry, Obscure Obsidian. Thank you very much, Obscure Obsidian, for the fan art. And let's go ahead and get right into Greg Locke being an absolute dullard, as he does. Let's just make sure that it even has good volume. God, that is such a gay stance for him. Look at that stance.
God's about to bring the whole house down, ladies and gentlemen. These bunch of sex trafficking mongrels are about to be exposed.
Wait, which sex trafficking mongrels? Is he trying to say that, like, okay, so he hasn't contextualized this yet. I want to figure out who the sex trafficking mongrels are. Let's find out.
These bunch of pedophiles in Hollywood are going to be exposed for who they are.
Okay, so I'm not saying that wealthy elites do not have connections to pedophile rings. This feels, though, like a whole bunch of the QAnon shit over and over again, right? The idea that just, like, being in Hollywood suddenly means that you necessarily have some connection to pedophile rings. It's a really awkward conspiracy theory that we've been seeing peddled around a lot by QAnon believers, and in fact a lot of Trump supporters as well, back when he was in office. And Greg Locke is still just sitting on that, just using that to the best of his ability to make his audience just super swoon.
I don't care what you think about fraudulent Sleepy Joe. He's a sex trafficking, demon-possessed mongrel. He's of the left.
Wait. Do that again. Do that one again.
Think about fraudulent Sleepy Joe.
Fraudulent Sleepy Joe. Okay, so one by one, we're going to tackle each of these. Fraudulent Sleepy Joe. This is the conspiracy theory that the election was a fraud. The 2020 election was a fraud. And this is why we ended up having an entire riot at the Capitol on January 6th. This exact reason, because there are people like Greg Locke that get a massive erection because they think that the election was false. Next.
He's a sex trafficking, demon-possessed.
All right, so we got two claims here. First, that he's a sex trafficker. I don't know if there's any evidence for this. You're going to need to find something other than connected to Hollywood or in the White House to get me to believe that Joe Biden's a sex trafficker. And I would expect the same thing, the same level of evidence to come for somebody like Donald Trump. Now, the difference here is that with Trump, we actually had evidence that there were several cases against him. I have to sneeze. Ah, I had muted in time for the sneeze. Aha! But we actually had evidence in the form of several allegations that were put against him, and they were happening for years, not just while he was president. And a lot of the things got settled out of court. So we actually did have some measure of evidence to go off of where Trump is concerned. But where Biden's concerned, I don't know if we do. Emily the Fennec, thank you very much for redeeming your points for an hada hada. You freaking weirdo. But I don't know if we have that same level of evidence for Joe Biden. Next, we have the claim that Joe Biden is possessed by demons. Now, Joe Biden's a Christian, so I don't know where you'd actually get this claim from. Except I know Greg Locke's an evangelical, and Joe Biden is a Catholic Christian. And because he's Catholic, that automatically puts him into an evil category for Greg Locke. But there's one more category that Greg Locke has here. And mind, these are all thought-terminating cliches. So what's the last category he's got?
Mongrel, he's on the left.
So he's a mongrel and he's on the left. Apparently being on the left is enough for him to be an enemy to Greg Locke. Now let's think about some values that are typically espoused by the left in the United States. We have things like workers' rights. We have things like universal health care. We have things like women's access to abortion. We have things like gay marriage. We have things like trans people's access to health care. These are all things that Greg Locke can't stand. These are all things that create a world in which he and his religion does not get to have the same measure of control they've had on it for absolutely fucking decades. Losing that control makes people like Greg Locke panic. Not having a flock that he can use and abuse to keep his power, that makes people like Greg Locke panic. And I'm not trying to, like, paint him as a monster. He's painted himself as that pretty easily over time. So, let's see what else he does to whip his audience into a fervor.
He ain't no better than the Pope.
So he's no better than the Pope. Again, like I said, there was the whole thought-terminating cliche thing about Biden being Catholic. Biden being Catholic is enough for Greg Locke to hate him, despite the fact that they are both Christian and probably have similar views on a myriad of issues. But he's Catholic, so therefore he must be the enemy. Now, I'm no friend of the Catholic Church. One, I'm an atheist, and two, the Catholic Church has done its fair share to cover up pedophilic abuse within its ranks. It does not follow, however, that Biden supports that. It does not follow that Biden is a pedophile because the Catholic Church happens to be a pedophile ring.
And Oprah Winfrey and Tom Hanks and the rest of that wicked crowd, God is going to bring the whole house down.
Wait, hold on. So, Oprah Winfrey, Tom Hanks, all of them, God's going to bring the whole house down. Greg Locke, do you have a time frame for this? Because this sounds like a prediction. This sounds like a prophecy. And speaking of prophecies, Fionn MacCoo in the chat has redeemed a prophecy of their own. They've redeemed points for an owl. They've redeemed points for an owl. Now, outside of that level of cringiness that I have simply decided to embrace throughout my time on the internet, Greg, when is God going to bring the house down? I need to know. Because, honestly, when predictions like this are made, they're always made with such bravado, with such gusto. But then they don't come to pass. I need to know what God bringing the house down on Hollywood looks like. Then I need to know what happens when he brings the house down. Like, what's the signal that it's going to happen? And I need to know a time frame. And if I can't get those three things, what God bringing the house down on them looks like, if there are any signals beforehand, and a general time frame, then I'm just going to have to chalk this into the bin of random bullshit you say on stage, because it gets the dicks of your audience hard, and when their dicks are hard for you, they send you lots of money. Trust me, since becoming a VTuber, I've learned that all too well. I'm kidding.
I said he's going to bring the whole house down. He's going to burn the whole thing to the ground.
You said that 3 times. You have not yet substantiated what that means or what that is.
He's going to expose all these bunch of pedophiles.
So wait, hold on. I got a question. Let's accept the premise that Hollywood is in fact filled with absolute fuck tons of pedophiles. Let's accept that premise for a minute. What happens if the police get involved and they find this out? Is that God, or did the police do it? If they never find it out, was that God's doing, or was it the police's doing? Did the police override God's plan to expose Hollywood? Or, when you've got an all-powerful God who has the ability to do anything he wants at any point in time, and then he actively chooses not to, I have to wonder, at what point is it just human volition doing what human volition does? At what point do you have to accept that we are just doing our own shit? And God's not really involved here, Greg. Again, this is why predictive time frames are useful. Because if you say God's going to do X on May 2nd of 2022, and then in 2022, that thing happens on May 2nd, I am more likely to believe your inconceivable bullshit.
I'm telling you, he's going to expose Kamala Harris for the Jezebel demon that she is.
Wait, Kamala Harris for the Jezebel demon she is? Okay, but like where? How? In what ways is she a Jezebel demon? Now, granted, I'm not a big fan of Kamala Harris either. Some of her earlier policies before getting elected into the office she's in right now very, very negatively affected people of color in the areas that they were enacted in. She was very hard on crime without actually trying to help the individual people who found themselves having to commit crime. I have issues with Kamala Harris, but I need to know how she's a Jezebel demon as opposed to just she's a woman in politics and she's on the left, ostensibly. American left, not necessarily socioeconomic left.
I don't know why pastors don't talk about this stuff.
Because it usually gets their 501c3 revoked. They're doing politics from the pulpit. Also, your job is not to meddle in politics. Render unto Caesar, as they say. Your job is to lead people to Christ, not determine who they vote for.
Well, I do. They don't want to seem crazy.
Well, you don't have to do much to seem crazy, Locke. You just kind of are.
I'm already crazy. People like, do you really think it's that much of an epidemic? Do you honestly believe, we're going to get some more crazy. Do you honestly believe, Pastor Locke, that the military uncovered tunnels beneath the Capitol building and beneath the White House and in the Five-Fingered Lakes? Do you really believe that they found kids? Yeah, both.
Wait, hold on. Where did you get the evidence that that happened? Wait, so you believe that the military uncovered sex trafficking tunnels under the White House? Can I get a source? Can I get can I get evidence of that? That'd be real cool. I would love to know if there's any actual evidence for that. Hold on. We'll finish this and we'll see if there's anything for that. We'll see where he found this conspiracy theory.
Live ones and dead ones, and if you disagree with that, and if you try to discount that, and if you try to cover that, and if you try to keep that on the DL, you're just as complicit as Hunter Biden and the rest of them bunch of crack-smoking perverts.
So wait, hold on. Your conspiracy theory, instead of substantiating it, you have to hide behind the cowardly defense that if you don't agree with it, then you're no better than a pedophile. That's your argument. Is this just Pizzagate all over again? Is this just Pizzagate? Greg, hold on. And that's it, right? That's it for the video? Okay, cool. Now let's see if we can't figure this out. Where... So we have, he said, tunnels under White House, child trafficking. Let's see. Let's see if there's a source for this. TheConversation.com. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to PolitiFact. Military on February 7th, 2021, bloggers posted things like military rescues tortured children from tunnel beneath Capitol Hill. PolitiFact goes in and says that no, tortured children were not rescued from the Capitol Hill tunnel system. That didn't happen. A recent blog attempts to lend credence to a QAnon conspiracy theory that Democratic politicians are part of a global sex trafficking ring, but the claims it makes are false. Well, yeah, if this was found in February 7th, then these tunnels would have already been there, and if they found dead children there, they would have already been dead under Trump's watch. Based on that time frame. You can't just blame all this on Democrats at that point. But let's continue. Let's continue here. A recent blog post attempts to lend credence to the conspiracy. Military rescues tortured children from tunnels beneath Capitol Hill, reads the headline of the post, which is being shared widely on Facebook. It goes on to say that U.S. Special Ops Forces recovered bodies, body parts, and at least 100 surviving children from a tunnel system beneath the White House and Capitol building in Washington, D.C. on January 29th. This seems to be what Greg Locke is talking about. So they reached out to the Defense Department about the claim, and they said, I can assure you that this is false. The post was flagged as part of Facebook's effort to combat false information on its newsfeed. It describes at least 100 children seen coming out of the White House with military troops and body bags in the early morning hours that day. Such an event would have been widely covered in the media, but there are no news reports or photographs to corroborate what is an outlandish and unsubstantiated allegation. Yeah, no. So, For an allegation like this to be given some kind of credence, you don't just need this to be on like on mainstream media. We would just need evidence of this happening, period. You would need pictures of it happening, you would need videos of it happening. For you to make the claim outside of anything but your intuition's asshole, there needs to be some type of source for it over and above you screeching from the woodwork. Said QAnon is a sprawling and unfounded conspiracy theory that asserts in part that former President Donald Trump is secretly fighting a cabal of Satan-worshipping, cannibalistic pedophiles. We rate that post pants on fire. So, and then it links the blog post, I believe, right? Yeah, arrested as military rescues, torture children from tunnel belief, Capitol Hill. From Real Thing TV. Okay, so let's see here. This is apparently a video. Is this an image? I can't click it. Why can't I click it? Is this not a video? Hold on, let's reload this page. Because I want to know if children are being pulled from tunnels under Capitol Hill. We've reloaded the page. We've tried clicking it. It doesn't get us anywhere. Yeah, no, nothing. Nothing. Maybe it's my ad blocker. Turn off the ad blocker for the site. Nope. Can't click it. Arrested as military rescues torture children from tunnels underneath Capitol Hill. U.S. Special Ops Forces recovered body parts, and at least 100 surviving children from a tunnel system beneath the White House Capitol building on Friday, January 29th in the early morning hours. The children were believed to have been abused, tortured, and killed by political elites in an elaborate tunnel system that ran under Capitol Hill, connecting to the other systems for 200 miles. All was thought to be part of an international child trafficking ring run by global political elites with ties to Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island that lay next door to Biden's water island. Oh my God, really? You're gonna do... So your bias is showing right here when you say, oh, this is right next door to Biden's water island. That's automatically going to paint this in a negative light for me. Not that I'm the biggest fan of Joe Biden, but because that automatically paints your bias here. You believe these children were abused in here, but I can't click on your video to even examine it and see if it's real. I can't. So I guess we just have to accept that not only is Pastor Greg Locke talking out of his ass, he's probably read this shit on Facebook and then saw that it got fact-checked on Facebook, and then based on seeing that it got fact-checked on Facebook like that, decided to say that it must necessarily be real. Because that's the type of person Greg Locke is. I'm just imagining that he's a perfect Facebook boomer who will see an article and retweet it, repost it uncritically, and it's just what he does. So let's very quickly, just for sake of argument, that's what I believe happened. Is there a place on his Facebook we can find where he says this? Let's see, hateful and debauchery. How far back are we going to have to go for this? This was in, like, early February, right? So we got to go back early February. June. This is all June still. We got to go past June. Past 2. We got to go past Shumon Head. And we will find... God, there's so much in June. Holy shit. How much do you post to Facebook? And I thought my time on Twitter was unhealthy. I guess we'll just... This is May. Oh my God. Is there... Okay, so I don't use Facebook all that often. Search page. Tunnels. Right? Is that how we spell tunnels? How the fuck do we spell tunnels? Let's see here. 19 hours ago, June. Are these not actually sorted by fucking May 12th, August 2020, December? So there's nothing here in your tunnels. I thought I would see you repost. Maybe there's a better search that we could see here. Date posted. This needs to be in 2021. Under. No, I want under White. We're just gonna try White House. White House with Pastor Greg Locke. Honored to be a guest at the White House. President Trump will speak soon. Okay, so there's nothing here. I could have sworn that I was going to find like some boomer Facebook repost from Greg, but I didn't find it. So that's interesting. Yeah, no, nothing about the tunnels. There's no information backing this except a fucking single blog post that links back to fucking QAnon conspiracy shit. Greg, come on, dude. Calm the fuck off. I want to say you can do better, but I know you can't. I'm not even disappointed. I'm just tired. Anyway, that was disappointing. I thought we were going to uncover a great global conspiracy today, but instead, all we did was uncover sadness. And maybe the real sadness was the friends we lost along the way. With that said, though, guys, let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Let me know if you enjoyed this episode at all. Let me know what your thoughts are by hitting the like button, dislike button, however you want to do yourself on my channel. With all that said, though, if you want to support my channel and what I do, best way to do it is by checking the links under the description of the video, or also checking the links that are in the About section of Twitch. But in any case, in all cases, as always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.